Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of 20ish podcast. So, in today's episode, we are going to talk about Brexit. We know that it happened long time back, but it's very important for us to know its repercussions and good sides from a geopolitical angle. So, let's start with it.
Yeah, so first let's talk about the background of Brexit.
Yeah. So, it's very most of us know that what is Brexit. Like even layman people know it was in news for like whole 2 years. But
Yeah,
most of us don't know the reason why Brexit happened or why even Britain thought of exiting European Union.
yeah. So first let's talk about how UK is divided in four parts: Northern Ireland, Wales, Britain, and Scotland.
Yeah, and also it was like I guess it was like in 1973 or something when it joined. I mean, I don't remember. European Union was founded in like 1999, if I'm not wrong. But earlier there was a cooperation deal among all the European nations, which Britain joined back in 1973. But in 1999, it all formulated and became European Union. And we all know the importance of European
Yeah,
Union even today. So Britain has always been a very integral part of European Union since time immemorial. Like it was also one of the biggest country in European Union.
and let's call it UK and not
Yeah,
Britain because it's a
yeah,
part of it.
yeah, United Kingdom. So I mean, a lot of thinkers and writers wrote about it in early 2000s and 2010s that maybe European Union has not been as successful in in the in solving UK's problem, or it has not always thought about the interest of UK. eh, And on the other hand, UK has been one of the biggest country in the European Union, and also being a very developed country, it has always had a very high share of payment or anything when it
Yeah,
comes to European Union. So, given that European Union was not favoring UK in a lot of things, there was a huge UN cry that maybe Britain should think of exiting European Union. It was in like early 2000s and 2010s, not early 2000s, but in middle part of 2005 to 10, there were a lot of thinkers and philosophers who wrote about it. There were researchers about it, that what would happen if Britain actually thinks of exiting European Union.
yeah, because they were not getting what they were given.
Yeah, actually. So, and also it has just been su- um, submer sorry, it has just been like a developed country where all the other poor European countries were taking refugees. So
Yeah,
immigration was a very 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 big issue in Britain. So I don't remember the exact time frame, but it was during the time of Prime Minister David Cameron that this UN cry developed into a movement. A lot of
it was
people,
in 2015-16, I
yeah,
think so.
in 2015 and 16, it was this time when it became a very big issue, such a big issue that even the British Parliament has to take sessions on it. And David Cameron promised its people that they will, held a referendum on what are the views of the British peoples about, this Brexit. Like,
Yeah.
shall they
So,
do it or
yeah,
not?
yeah.
And he was very confident that the answer would be a big no, but it didn't happen as planned. The 52% people actually voted in favor of Brexit, which was a very big deal.
Yeah.
and and then, as most of the UK's prime minister do, they resign when things get out of control for them. So even he did the same. He resigned. Yeah, I mean, they have a legacy of resigning.
Yeah,
I don't understand why, but yes, they always actually kind of run away from the problems.
yeah, they run away from the problem.
Yeah. So after that, there was again campaigns, and the next prime minister of UK also promised that they would, I guess, no, if I'm not wrong, it was during the reign of David Cameron only, when there were two referendums. First one was when 67% people voted for yes, and second was when 52% people voted for yes, yeah, there should be a Brexit. If I'm not historically correct, please check on it, because of course it's very difficult to be so much historically correct always.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes we are also people, amateurs.
Yeah.
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 So after that, he resigned because things went out of his hand. Most of his people wanted Brexit, but most of his MPs didn't wanted Brexit to happen. So all the bills were actually being withheld, and there wasn't a certain, what we say, a way out of this. So he resigned. The next in house prime minister also wasn't in favor of Brexit too much, but they campaigned on it, and they won. Most of the time that was happened with Boris Johnson too. He promised that there would be fair share of your UK's interest in Brexit, and he won. That's what happens. So even that nothing happened in the reign of the second prime minister. I guess I don't remember who he or she was. I guess
Theresa
she was
May.
a lady.
Theresa May.
Yeah, Theresa May. Yeah. So after that, even she wasn't able to strike a deal with European Union and Britain. There was even a time when UK was thinking of actually coming out of European Union without any proper
Deal.
deal, and
Yeah.
it would have been disastrous for them. And yeah. Hello.
Yes, yes, I'm there.
Okay, yeah. So that is how it happened. It was a very very long thing. Initially there wasn't any foolproof plan how to do it, and after the referendum, when many most people actually voted in favor, there were a lot of a very big faction which didn't wanted it, and most of them came from Northern Ireland
Yeah.
because they actually share a land border with European Union. So it would have been a really big hassle for businesses. But the people in mainstream or main part of UK wanted this because it would actually you know like there were a lot of influx of immigrants,
Yeah,
which
actually,
was
they were thinking that their jobs are getting
yeah.
hampered because, other European people are coming and taking it away.
Yeah, so there was a kind of difference in opinion between the mainstream
UK
UK
citizens
citizens
and
and the
the
Northern Ireland,
Northern
and
Ireland.
even Scotland for some time. Even Scotland was not in favor of it for a very
Yeah.
long time because they also wanted because what was the main concept here, like
What?
the UK wanted Brexit because it was paying huge money to the European Union, and in return it was not getting something which was actually making things very easy for UK. Like, yeah, there were trade policies, there wasn't no trade barrier things, but it was not being beneficial for it. I mean, that's how they thought back
Yeah.
then.
And
So
also the writings of the philosophers and journalists
yeah,
also influenced their
also
views.
influence this. Yeah, and the people most of the time, that's why we have seen from ancient times that referendums have not been really helpful because people change their mind.
Yeah.
It's like they get carried away and vote for a referendum, but when they actually read about it and different things, learn from people, they change their mind and then they blame the government for it. And that's why it is said that a referendum is not always the solution. So
Yes.
that's what happened with UK. It's a living example that not always what people think at the moment is what they will think forever. So that was one of the biggest issue with the Britain, because most of the people who actually voted for a yes, but after some time they didn't wanted Brexit to happen, other
Yes.
than a small faction of people who were like devoted to it.
Yeah, they were like hardcore nationalists.
Yeah, who wanted a global Britain kind of. There was a very famous campaign called Global Britain, which
Okay.
was yeah, which was there back in time when which attracted a lot of people, like most of the journalists, normal people, and even a lot of businessmen also you know actually get carried away by this campaign, which called for the global Britain. They wanted Britain to become a global country where, like, there was something like that. I'm not very sure about it, but there was something like this.
Yeah. So I think we have understood the background of Brexit.
Yeah,
Now let us come to the second part.
yeah, which talks about the pros and cons of Brexit. So initially, when the idea was flourished in the minds of people, they could only think about the pros, like there would be less immigration, and there would be financially UK would be at a better position because they don't have to pay a hefty sum to the European Union, and
Yes,
also they could actually trade in their terms, on their terms. They can make agreements with other European countries on their own terms. But as the time progressed, they understood the cons of it, like the delays in the trade, like
yeah,
the heavy checkings at every post. Because earlier, when European Union was functioning and Britain was a part of it, so it was like more like, it was like one country. All of the European countries were like one country. You don't need visa to go to another country. You don't need any prior you don't need to do
permission.
any, yeah, prior paperwork for trade with another country. But when Britain pulled out, all of this changed. Now it has to do treaties with other European countries for free trade and bilateral trade, and to decrease the trade barriers and very other things.
And
So
not just European countries, but
mm,
other countries
other
as well,
countries
like
as well,
India,
yeah,
South
all the
Africa.
like Southeast Asian countries, African countries, and also UK, sorry, US, UK.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it has to change a lot of policies. It has to formulate new policies on trade. Initially it was in the people thought that it would be better thing. So we can negotiate old uh, you know trade um, agreements which were not in our favor. Like most of the time it happens that when a deal is struck between European Union and any other country or faction, all the
hmm,
European countries have to follow it. and
that's true.
and most of the time the time it was not in their favor, because of course it was a trade agreement, it has to be bilateral. But sometimes it was not in the favor of UK or any other big countries.
Yes,
So yeah, so like this was the main reason why they thought of breaking up with um you. And also, like with time they realized that this is a really hefty task. Like Brexit is not something which would conclude on 1st January 2021.
yeah, as the
Yeah,
Prime Minister mentioned.
Prime Minister mentioned. After that, like we have seen that in nowadays it's in like Northern Ireland is so much in news because
Yes,
of it.
yes,
So
because
it is a very long
process.
process, and
And
the decision
also,
was also, I guess, very hasty.
yeah, and also a con which I can think of is that now UK has to, attract investors from all
Yeah,
around the world on its own. Earlier, there was a union and they were the one who were doing all this negotiations. And now UK has to prove that no, UK still has that charm left in it.
yeah.
So yeah, it
I
is a
read a quote.
hefty task.
I read a quote. I don't remember the. I don't remember where I read it, but it says that now London has to cement its own position as a global business hub. Now that EU
Exactly.
is out, now that it's out of EU. So of course, like nowadays when Dubai is considered one of the financial hub, London has to keep itself at bay with it, which is
And
very
also,
difficult without the help of European Union, to be honest.
yeah, and also an indirect thing which we are seeing these days is that now all the countries, other countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, these are now even China. They are now trying to strike a deal with France because they are the only permanent UN member
Yeah,
left in the European Union. And if France is with them, this means that they are good to go both in the UN as well as in the EU. So, Britain, I mean, UK has indeed suffered a loss. Otherwise, these countries would have been wooing UK as well, and not just France.
yeah. And also, like with the breakup of European Union and UK, we'll also see a trade deficit on UK's part, because of course there would be a very significant effect on the trade. Like mostly it would affect the manufacturing sectors, if not so much the tertiary sector, because we know that UK itself is not a big manufacturing hub. It needs parts and
Yeah,
supplies from other parts of the Europe, like Germany, Netherlands, and other, which are like big supply markets for them. So now they have to, strike new trade deals with them and also woo them, so that there is a seamless transfer of uh, supplies to
of
the
raw
UK,
materials
of
and
raw
other.
materials and technology also
Yeah,
to the UK. So it is a big blow to the manufacturing sector for the UK, but somehow it is also good for the tertiary sector, because a lot of people from other parts of Europe were too much engaged in the tertiary sector in Europe. Now that advantage would go to the citizens of UK.
yeah,
So of course it has its own pros and cons, but for the coming 10 years, the cons would actually, be on the higher side, I guess,
yes,
because
exactly.
now it's more like you have to develop everything on your own, like most of the countries have to do. Like they have to build their own market and woo the industry, woo the investors and everything else.
Yeah,
Earlier with EU, it was also easier for other European countries to invest in UK, but now
yeah.
they have to, follow another piles of paperwork. And of course ease of doing business has also reduced with the breakup of EU and UK.
Yes, exactly. So, this were enough for the pros and cons. And now let us talk about the third part, which is the final part of this
Yeah.
episode.
So let's talk about the present situation, like what is the situation at present in Britain, and what are the people of United Kingdom thinking about it now that Brexit has concluded. Like earlier it was like there was a lot of hue and cry that why is Brexit taking so long, why is it
Yes,
taking like much time and everything. But now that finally United Kingdom and European Union had parted ways, let's see what are the sentiments of people and also the ground reality. So first of all, like Northern Ireland people, they are really really not happy with Brexit,
yes, they
and we
never
can see
wanted
that.
it.
Yeah, initially also there were a lot of movements and kind of protests that they want to be a part of EU, and that's why Britain actually had a word with EU that there would be some parts of the rules and regulation that would still apply to Northern Ireland's.
Yes,
Yeah. So but still I guess Northern Ireland is not happy with this decision, and it's very much kind of oblivious, and it can be seen. And of course the main problem of UK right now is this.
yes. And also, the ease of business from Northern Ireland has
Yeah.
been reduced very much. Now there is so much heavy checking there, and of course, Ireland is not very happy with it.
Yeah, also because Ireland would be the one who would which would actually suffer the most in terms of financial, so in terms of business and financial index, because it's like they are mostly, I guess, if I'm not wrong, Northern Ireland are the one which
Having
initially also didn't wanted to part with you, and
yes,
also when it was parting with you, there were a lot of sentiments of people which wanted Northern Ireland separately to be a part of you. If UK didn't wanted to be a part of EU, they wanted some kind of resolution which would still make Northern Ireland a part of EU. And that's why there were all these negotiations with the EU, that till till I don't remember the time frame till which you would actually didn't interfere in the you know um sorry
and yes, indeed,
in the like the trade, like the most trade issues and like all the trade advantages which Northern Ireland was actually having.
yes. So I think Northern Ireland is the present issue which UK
And
needs to
also some
face.
part of Scotland is also at present You
Yeah, I
know,
was also hearing the news that Scotland wants to be a independent, wants
yeah,
to be
yeah,
an
yeah.
independent country.
And yeah, also
This is also
this
a very
communal
big
rights
issue.
breaking out, and this huge thing that they want to be, even I wouldn't be surprised if Northern Ireland comes and says the same,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
we want to be a
I
separate
think
country.
in the longer run, Brexit is really not good.
Yeah, and also it has actually you know increased the chances of
To
breaking
break up of
UK,
UK,
breakup
yeah,
of UK in different
which would be
territories.
disastrous.
It
I
would be
mean, for any
disastrous, of
country,
course.
the breakup of
Partitions and breakups,
states is very disastrous.
very
Yeah,
disastrous. And also Northern Ireland and Scotland are, a very integral part of United Kingdom, because most of their traits, it is very beneficial for their traits. And also, like, we all are aware that United Kingdom is known for Scotland, like
yeah.
the beauty of Scotland. The tourism sector would really, really,
And Scotland is
degrade.
indeed very
Very
beautiful.
beautiful. The tourism sector would degrade if there isn't peace in Scotland.
Yeah.
And
So
also, Northern Isles, we can't say much about what would happen in the future, like, but we are very sure about the that there would be, a lot of uncertainty and unpeaceful elements in the United Kingdom in coming
yes,
times because
yes,
of this Brexit. So in a longer run, Brexit will might become one of the, decisions on which UK would regret,
yes,
although they might save some penny on financial sides. But I don't think that is also happening, because their market have actually seen their lows during the time of Brexit, and even now they are not doing very well in terms of market.
yes, yes. So
So
I think this was it for the episode, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
bye.